Our world is changing. It's become unfamiliar, unpredictable, and sometimes frightening. I'm Tim Ward, the publisher of Changemakers Books, and I created the Resilience series in order to help us deal with the challenges posed by the coronavirus pandemic. I gathered together 10 authors who are experts in their fields, and they each wrote a short, focused book on the practical, emotional, and spiritual skills we each need to develop in order to become resilient and survive, and eventually learn to thrive in a pandemic society. 4 of the books deal with how to cope with the pandemic. Another 4 deal with how to connect and become stronger with bigger sources. And 2 talk about reaching out and communicating. And I'll go through those with you now. First, Adapt and Plan for the New Abnormal. This book was written by Gleb Tsipursky, who's a disaster avoidance specialist, and he puts together first the ways in which our minds can deceive us into making bad decisions through falling prey to our cognitive biases, and instead helps us figure out how we can plan for the different possible scenarios that we need to be ready for as the pandemic unfolds. Next, handling anxiety. This is a big issue for many people in normal life, but when the pandemic hits, all of us have anxiety about the future. Learning from a master, George Haussmann, the author, will help us deal with rising anxiety and find a way to see reality for what it is and not spin out of control. Navigating loss. Jules DeVito has known loss in her own life, and she's written this book to help us cope with loss, whether it's loss of a job and financial stability, or perhaps even the loss of someone we loved. It could even be for loss of our own sense of identity and purpose in life. Navigating this uncertainty is a crucial skill for finding our footing in the pandemic. And aging. Reverend John Robinson wrote a book for those who are 65 and more who can so easily feel alone, isolated, and at greater risk than the rest of us in the midst of this pandemic. And this book particularly focuses on helping these people connect with vision, hope, and courage for the source that can help make them not only feel a part of things, but somebody who can contribute their maturity and their wisdom as we find our collective path forward. And now, books on connecting. Melanie Chukas Bradley wrote the book Connecting with Nature. She's a forest naturalist and a guide. She leads many tours for people to help them experience nature with more depth. And in this book, she takes her skills and helps us see how we can connect with nature, that huge vital source to which we're all a part, even if we're only able to have access to it in our backyard or in an urban park, or possibly through our window or on our balcony. Through this book, you'll discover the strength that you can find again in reconnecting powerfully with the natural world. For some of us, the way forward is going to be going within. P.T. Mitzelberger has written this beautiful book based on his own 30 years of experience. He's written more than 7 books about esoteric traditions, and he himself has started several personal growth communities to find a meaningful and deep spiritual path. For some of us, the best way to connect is by finding our best self in community. What is it that other people give us that can help us show up as the person who's most resourceful and resilient? Linda Ferguson writes about this in her beautiful book, Grow Stronger in a Time of Crisis. And on a very practical level, how can teams come to function better? Virtual Teams, Holding the Center is a book by Carlos Valdez de Pana, who was the team guru for the Mars Corporation and advised their corporate teams to become high-performance groups of individuals. So if you're working in a business and you wonder how you can get your people functioning while they must operate at a different distance, Carlos's book is the one for you. In communication, there's a book that I co-wrote with my partner, Teresa Erickson. We're communication specialists, and together we authored a book called Virtually Speaking, which is how to use the best techniques when you're speaking on, whether it's on Zoom or a webinar or any number of the one of the systems that are available, how can you do this in a way that helps people really focus and pay attention when so easily we suffer from fatigue and find it hard to listen? So this is the book for you to get your people paying attention and have your words make an impact. And the last book in the series is The Life-Saving Skill of Stories. And this is a book for everyone because stories help us relay information in a way that is encoded and easy for us to get, help us hear, well, what do I need to pay attention to? What are my risks? What are the things that I have to share for others? Learning how to do this effectively with story is a great way that you can help be part of humanity's journey towards better resilience. And so these are the 10 books that make up Resilience. This is a production of Changemakers Books, and we are an imprint of John Hunt Publishing. I invite you to join us. Come read our books, become more resilient. Our website is www.resilience-books.com. Join us, be more resilient, and help us make humanity's brighter future.